Alright. Hey guys, what's up? Let's see, all the audio stuff's working. Turn off the feedback loop. Alrighty. So, another week, another content drop. Oh yeah, I should probably close that, I don't need it yet. Yet being the key word. So, this week, what do we got on the plate? We have our Barbados Lupus Rex alternative attribute. We have our Gundam Asteroth event suit. We have the 4.0 update, right? That's the word that was escaping me. Alrighty. Are you gonna visit the standard Vidar as well? I probably can. If it's still, is it still in the gacha? If it is, then sure. While I'm here. If it's not, I'm not gonna go digging. Okay, it's still there. Cool. Alright, well. Let's do our normal rotation. We're gonna check out our new event content. Then we're gonna take a look at all the gacha stuff. Then we'll take a stop over the Twitter video stuff and alterations at the end. Okay, this is actually not bad popcorn. Different brand. It's actually pretty good. Okay, not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to the shop. So, let's start from the top. Our Deluge coin, Gundam Asteroth. Let's start from the noggin. My glasses are somewhere, not here. Oh well. Okay. So, let's take a peek-see. When heavy armor, initial EX skill charge boosted 20%. Okay. So heavy armor. Okay, you know, it's easy enough to get your hands on. Nothing crazy. I'll move my mic a little closer. Anyways, not super difficult to get your hands on. It gives relatively okay boosts. The initial EX skill charge is really nice. As far as welfares go, that is a pretty high multiplier. Only way it could really be better if it was a general EX skill cooldown reduction instead of initial, I think. But even then, for a welfare, not bad. The tag selection could be nicer, but heavy armor is not a terrible tertiary. Of course, depends on your suit build, right? So statistically, what are we looking at here? Okay. So we're looking at relatively low shot attack. Do keep in mind that welfare heads designed for shot attack break 3k now before carryovers and stuff. So this doesn't even go 1700. Clearly melee centric. With that in mind, it's pushing what? 19 change, 1900, like 1930, kind of around there, shot attack. You know, it's half the strength of a shot head, so whatever. Melee wise, what are we looking at? 940-ish base, good amount of carryover too. Looking at about 1500 or so melee attack for a welfare head. That is really high. Typically, we would see the over 1,000 as kind of the standard what we'd see on a welfare head. Once we go past 1300, it starts getting pretty good. So this suit sits pretty comfortably in that nice healthy melee attack range for a head. However, of course, this means that the heavy armor tag is a lot less useful than it was at first glance, as it boosts shot attack, melee defense. The melee defense will carry over, give you a little more defense, which feeds into your melee attack with the right change gears, but shot attack boost on a melee centric part, he says pro tag. So on overall, okay. Let's look at the torso. When armor is 70% or less, EX skill power boosted by 30%. So this is one of those, you take a little bit of a beating, you do more damage output. Only with the EX skills. Mileage may vary. I don't like skills that require you to have below X amount of armor, especially after the cost rebalance where they just removed it. At least the EX skill damage bonus is really nice, but the damage requirement makes it kind of eh. Statistically, oh, okay. So you got like token 500 shot attack. Melee is where it's at though. We're looking at like what, 1900 or so melee attack on this. For a welfare, that's a really good torso. Packs one heck of a wallop. We've changed out our heavy armor tag for Gundam type as well, which I think is a more, I guess, flexible tag. It activates a lot more than heavy armor does, and it's much more accessible. Yeah. Still has the same issue of not really boosting melee attack, but at least it does more than heavy armor does at the end of the day in terms of, like, what it activates. Hey, Kyle. Not much. Just a couple pieces of the Asteroth I've looked over here. Alright, let's take a look at the arms. Alright, integrated part 2. Nice. So, EX skill. Sub-Knuckle. B Pierce, B plus power. Really low cooldown. Alright, lowers hit enemies, Gunpla resist 20. Okay. So, as this is not a bindable, catch enemies and crush them, the dialogue makes me think it's a weak interruptible dash type skill. It really does depend on the animation on it, but I'm not really foreseeing any good things from this. So, dash and grab. Yeah, like for a welfare, acceptable, but yeah. Statistically, as it is an integrated part, it's going to have crazy high stats. We're looking at, wow, yeah, crazy high, really. Oh boy. Ends up being what, like 13? Yeah, so we're looking at like 5,500 or so melee attack on this after carryover. That's pretty good. Like, even for an integrated welfare part, that's really good. And more or less token shot, rocking like 900. Alright. Pro tag, heavy armor comes back again. It's fast enough for melee X, second best to eat. Yeah, sure. But the fact that these are typically interruptible does kind of really impact how useful they are in the grand scheme of the meta. At the end of the day, we're at a point where it doesn't really matter what you run anymore. You can just run whatever makes you happy, whatever animations you like from whatever suit you like. It doesn't really matter anymore. So, yeah. Oh no, you know, I'm not running a super optimal 3-skill setup. Oh no. Whoop-de-doo. You'll still do fine. Okay. Not bad. Actually, for an integrated welfare part, I think this is one of the better ones. Statistically, it's solid. The EX skill is workable. You know, you can definitely make use of it. And the tags, it's got pro tag, which is really good. Heavy armor is really the only demerit here, I think. Like, the hard demerit. Everything else is... Alright, let's take a look at our legs. Kniff attack. Alright. D Pierce, B plus power. Unleash a flurry of it. We're not even gonna finish reading it. Those skills are never good. Super short range. And it's just Alright. Stats. Okay. So about 1,800 or so melee attack. Solid, solid, solid. And token shot. Yeah, it doesn't even break 500. Pro tag, close combat. Oh, those legs are really packing the heat. But tis. Yeah. Overall, packs a lot of melee, especially for, right, remember, legs and backpack always tend to be, like, the lowest defensively statted parts of a suit. So, over 1,000 is pretty good. 1,200 is really nice. Past that, we're in, like, you know, you're really good territory. This suit just blows out of the water. Good job. Really, the demerit's the EX here. Everything else is pretty solid for a welfare. Like, really solid. Cool beans. The freedom to build and use whatever I want is slowly arriving, and I don't know why I'm not more excited. Because, like, if we're being straight, it took us 3 years to get here, right? When we started, it was much more Wild West, because we didn't have all these min-max stuff things going on. right? We didn't have the ultra sweaty compositions where people, you know, figured out exactly how to like game the system. And now we've gotten to a point where it's like our stats are so ridiculously high, even building suboptimal. Like, you could accidentally make a suit that has over 60,000 primary stat. It doesn't sound like a lot. I know people that have well over 100k, but we just don't need that much power at all for anything. There's no content besides PvP that actually requires the strength that we're running. So yeah, you can run completely suboptimal EX skills, like it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, you're still going to be just doing so much damage. The only thing that is ever going to really trip you up is PvP. And even that's not a big deal, right? As long as you're not, like, care a lot about it, whatever. Yeah, like, it's hard to hit that healthy balance of keeping things difficult while still keeping it accessible. Back around, I think it was what, like 6 to 8 months in, they gave us like those Inferno challenges or whatever. Those were really cool at the time because they did actually require some thinking, some strategizing, and some work, right? But now we just have a catalog of parts. Our stats are off the wall. There's no way to create content that is accessible for people of every like strength level anymore, because someone that joins, they'll be able to make a really powerful suit really quickly, but they're not going to be anywhere near as strong as someone that's been min-maxing for like, you know, 2.5, 3 years, right? So it is a problem that is really hard to address. Yeah, like my best thing, right, that I can pitch forward is still just like the endless wave system. Just allow us to continuously fight enemies over and over and over that have increasing stats and everything until we eventually get overwhelmed, and create like a leaderboard for it or something. So that way the people that have absolutely deranged stats actually have a way to show it off now, right? But we just don't have that. It's just PvP, and that's just a meta game system, so. Yeah, the few weeks break was interesting because like I went to Anime Expo. That was a lot of fun, by the way. That was a ton of fun. I'm actually still in the middle of editing. Okay, so tangent from the game. Went to Anime Expo, had a blast. I came back and I didn't feel that hot. Over the next few days, I developed really bad symptoms of a cold. I did take a couple of COVID tests, came up negative. I'm clean on that. The guys I traveled with, some of them got sick as well. I was effectively just like, couldn't think, couldn't work. I just kind of vegged out for a couple of days. The first day that I felt good, and I was like, all right, you know, let's get back to life as normal. We had a like huge ISP outage. If you guys just Google Rogers outage, you'll see some people went like 3-4 days with zero internet. I used that to edit all of the footage I got when I was at Anime Expo together. I didn't finish it because I still need a little bit of background music for it, copyright free stuff. Hard to do when you lack internet. So I just need to add those finishing touches on it, and I'll have that video uploaded. I ended up having to cut a ton of it out because I didn't realize at the time when I was recording, but the acoustics in that lounge room for the microphones that Nick and everyone else was talking through, you can barely understand a lick of what they're saying. It's really rough. Yeah, from what I understand, they like streamed it like an official thing. I'll see if I can find that stream and like grab some snippets to include for the audio from. But yeah, it's really cool. Anyways, tangent over. Let's look back at this, finish up what we're doing here. Now I can talk about AX. Okay. Backpack. The demolition knife. All right, what do we got here? Attack the enemy with a blah, 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 blah. Cool. D Pierce, B plus power, and it's a relatively low cooldown. All right, pretty bog standard slap. Pro take, close combat. All right. Statistically, looking kind of very similar to the legs, actually, which is pretty cool. Honestly, nice. Good like spread here. a lot of its melee attack is coming from defense carryover. So, like, not only is it hitting really hard, but it's got a lot of defense to it. The EX skill on that part, I'm really not sure about. Again, it's one of those things that boils down to just the animation. Without seeing it, I can't really make heads or tails of whether or not it's really good. So, after 20 seconds pass, squad job gauge rate plus 13%. So, after 20 seconds, it just means your job gauge is going to increase at 13% quicker pace. I don't like the job gauge. I think it could be way better than its current implementation and bring way more to the table. So to me, this is completely worthless. But hey, you know what? Each to their own. Your mileage may vary. You do whatever your build wants. Pro tag heavy armor. We're really like hot swapping between close combat and heavy armor here. Make up your mind, man. All right, lots of melee attack on this, even after carryover. Actually, after carryover, I think this is the highest melee attack welfare weapon in the game. Pretty sure it is. We're pushing, what, 3940, 3950 or so? As far as welfares go, I think that's, like, number 1. Nice. Definitely within the top 10 for welfare stuff. Really good, though. It's definitely not a knife, however. It's more of a sledgehammer hunk of metal. But, whatever. What do I know? Alright. So, overall, I don't like the trait. The stats are really good. Alright, and on to the guns. For this, it's going to be pretty sad, I reckon. When attacking with physical, enemy shooting cut minus 25%. So, this feeds into that new system they added a while back. So, TLDR, whenever you have a trait on your suit, you know, enemy shooting power reduced by 30% or whatever, that's what this is affecting. This reduces that value by whatever the listed number is. The thing is, the way the formula works, there is no floor to this, meaning it can go into the negatives. So if the enemy doesn't have any, you know, enemy shooting power reduced stats on it, this works effectively as a, you get a shooting boost. In this case, a shot boost of 25%. Yeah, not very useful for a melee suit, but useful for a shot suit if you have physical. Yep, EX cut explanations go. Okay. That's a really good popcorn, holy shit. Okay. Statistically, what are we looking at here? Okay. So, has kind of a token melee attack to it, 700-ish, 700 change or so. As far as shot goes, you know, 3400. It's got pro tag Gundam type tags. Honestly, it's the trait is good for shot machines if you place it onto another physical weapon and backslot this. I wouldn't run this as your primary gun if you have other options, purely because its shot attack cap is significantly lower than the best we have available. In the welfare pool, this sits pretty high up, but we do have better stuff that we can get. But the trait is pretty solid, especially with the current meta stuff that's going on with all the cuts and the cut reductions and crap. Although I don't even know what that is meta. Honestly, I don't really care either. All I know is it's showing up a lot recently. So, yeah. Anyways, overall, it's a rifle. The trait's good. The stats are good melee attack on it, though. And the tags are workable, pro tag and Gundam type. Not so much for a machine you'd want to probably equip that on. Alright, anti-material rifle. When in multi-mission sortie, EX skill cooldown reduced by 15%. So that makes it useless in most of the game's content. Okay. Good in multi-mission. Outside of there, obviously worthless. Statistically, same as the other weapon. Okay. Pro tag and heavy armor again. Honestly, the handheld, the SMG is better than this, I think. Yeah. It's a part, that's for sure. Okay. Overall, the Asteroth has a lot of melee attack, a lot of melee defense. Has that pro tag, close combat, heavy armor tag combo going on. Overall, it's okay. It's lacking a lot of self-buff traits, mostly relying on other sources, or rather, lack of sources. Take a look at the welfare rerun list. It's been a while since I did that, but yeah, fair. Couple flags. Penelope, the O, Victory, Tall Geese, GP01, Interesting. Oh, what's the build project for this week? The Shinasuke and Versago. Huh. Neat. Nothing new in here. Okay. Cool beans. Multi-mission coins. I looked everywhere but there. Yeah, the Crossbone. Okay, yeah, so I knew this happened because a bunch of people were talking about it. I just forgot to bring it up. Long and short, if you have the multi-mission coins, you should look at picking this up. For a very long time, it was the bread and butter for a lot of players. It does a lot of damage. It's a practically free magazine EX skill. So, yeah. It's pretty damn good. Get it if you can. God knows when they'll rerun it. Because this is the first time it's been rerun since its original appearance, right? It's first rerun. They've passed it over multiple times in the past. And many other suits have seen reruns that have equally as good stats on them. Or, not stats, but equally good traits and or EX skills that are considered very powerful. Very odd that they took so long to rerun the Crossbone, but here we are. Okay. Cool beans. Anyways, let's pop on over to the Gacha. Take a peek-see at that. Saw the news on the SDG generation stuff. Gotta be a little, you're kind of like splitting it there. Are you talking G Generation Eternal? Are you talking about the game that's coming out? What is it? Battle Alliance or SDGBA? Like, which SD are you talking about here? If it's SDGBA, that was a good game. They had a demo booth up at AX. It's really nice. Eternal? I haven't seen the news yet for it, but when we were at the convention, they did make some announcements for it, and I'm really excited for it. Like, really excited for it. I will do my best to stream it as much as I can while I'm playing it, so that you guys have an idea of what we're getting into. Because that game looks really nice. Okay. It also got an alteration alongside the Saku. Great, I'm gonna have a bunch of alterations to look at, aren't I? Just what I always wanted. Okay, so let's start from the top. So we're gonna skip the Lucas, not the Lucas, the Lupus. Everybody's got Lupus. It's a 7-star. I don't really care about the stat inflation, honestly. I'm just gonna look at an alteration. Check it out there. So we'll ignore old Barbie for now. We'll check out our pilots. We'll check out the Vidar. And we'll check out those alterations. Alright. Starting off. Sherry Allison. Alright, that's a name. When one enemy shot down, all power boosts by 25%. That's a very, very solid trait. The only demerit is the fact that you have to shoot an enemy down first. meaning you're not going to be able to use it in content where there's only one enemy. Honestly, though, 25% power boost from a 3-star pilot, that's really nice. You can this is like freebie, man. When she becomes available for exchange, you can just max her out, no problem. So that's nice. Okay. Okay. Xeon Federation tags. Okay. 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 Workable. Workable. Both of them are tertiaries. So. Outfighter job. Okay. And statistically. Alright, we got another really confused pilot here. So we're looking at about 1,700 or so shot attack and 2K, yeah, 2,050 or so melee. For a 3-star pilot, those stats are pretty high up. I do like that trait a lot. The caveat, you just kind of got to work around, but for a 3-star pilot, that's really nice. And the 2 word tags, tertiary is workable. Very interesting. Okay. An Akihiro Altland. Man. We finally got the brick himself. And it's the Season 2 version of him. Okay. Well, Gundam type. Enemy EX skill count minus 30%. Also known as EX skill power boost of 30%. Okay. He is a mid shooter. Okay. Gundam type mid range. Okay. All right. Statistically, well, that's 3,200 or so melee attack, and just under 3K shot for a 4-star base pilot. Not bad, man. That's actually pretty good. Dang. So, statistically, really good. Beaten out mostly by just build project pilots and like really limited time pilots and stuff. Trait-wise, if you use the Gundam type word tag, you get a 30% EX skill power boost. That's good. And then Gundam type mid-range, kind of a tertiary word tag combination. Gundam type way more useful than mid-range, but mid-range I guess still has some of its uses. Interesting. Very interesting. Overall, 4-star pilot, gacha, pick ticketable after a while. Alright. Yeah, pretty okay. Pretty okay. Alright. Now, let's check out old Vidar. Now, Vidar, you have 7-star as well, do you not? Did the Vidar get an alteration? Oop, didn't mean to hit boost. I meant to hit permanent. No, he did not. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at him in the gacha pool here. As my normal things go with 7 stars, I'm not going to worry about looking at the stats. I'm just going to look at the EX skill / part trait and the tags. Honestly, the numbers are just, they're going to be really good because 7-star. Yeah. You are right, Kyle. This is going to be the first, like, actually, no, this is base 5-star, isn't it? Not 4-star. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's base 5-star, you nerd, not 4-star. What's wrong with you? My brain was jumping to standard banner. But I remember, I made that mistake last week when I was talking about the suit with some people. Like, no, it's a limited suit, so it is 5-star. First I could have swore this was, oh no, it is a standard. Okay. I have been betrayed by my friend. Okay. Anyways, so Vidar, standard suit, 5-star. In a few weeks, 3 weeks or so, you'll be able to grab them from the exchange. Meaning, if you're someone that's been sitting patiently and waiting, you'll be able to get a full 7-star suit without having to roll limited banners. It's pretty good. Like, really good. Okay. Anyways, let's start taking a peek-see. As I said, I'm going to be ignoring the stats. There's no point. 7-star has its own customized, like, numbers per part, per suit. It's just going to be really good. Maybe not as good as a Sokai, because, you know, you want to promote Sokais over standards. But this should do very, very well overall. So, let's take a look at the skills and tags. Alaya Vinyana Type E. So, we get our speed boost, cool. 49% melee attack boost. Whew, that is spicy tamales. And raise your vernier capacity. Honestly, I don't think vernier capacity is really great. That anything to do with verniers, I think, is kind of a waste. But again, power to you. Whatever you want your build to do, you know, you do you. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. But that 49% melee attack boost is savage. Nice. Nice. Okay. Ace exclusive close combat tags. Interesting. Okay. Column A, column B suit. I'm pretty sure Vidar was much more of a close combat suit than a range suit, but with power attribute, squad cooldown minus 15% seconds. Okay. Interesting. Power attribute is very easy to get. And as it is a squad cooldown, you can actually put this onto other suits in your squad and not take up slots on your precious primary for this trait. Nice. Ace exclusive, close combat again. Oh, look at this. He's actually, you know, consistent. Alright. Let's take a look at the arms. What do we got? Ace exclusive, close combat. Look at that. When attacking with physical, EX skill power boosted by 30%. There are so many physical abilities in this game. That's not even a problem. Alright. And this doesn't specify whether it has to be shot or melee either, just physical. So, yeah, does make it kind of a agnostic part in that line where its trait can be used on either type of build. Very good. Alright. Ace exclusive, close combat yet again. Aight. The legs. Ah, there we go. We finally got rid of close combat for high mobility. Ah, Demon's Hunt. That sounds extremely familiar. Like, extremely familiar. Bindable, A- Pierce, A Power. You get a 39% melee attack boost for your squad. And erases debuff effects on all Gunplas. Is that all allied Gunplas? Or is it everyone? Because it seems a little weird to have a, oh yeah, we're going to remove debuffs on even your enemies. That seems a little more against you than for you, but what do I know? First squad CD on unlimited, I heard. Yeah, that makes sense, because most of the suits we've got since the anniversary that haven't been welfare have been Sokai or limited, so, you know, kind of makes sense. That's, yeah. Very interesting. The Pierce power combination guarantees it's going to hit really hard. Has an extremely low cooldown. Very beefy boost. The only thing I'm curious about is the debuff clearing. But at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters that much. Like, Yeah. Nice. Nice. Ace exclusive, high mobility. Like I said, cool beans. Alright, let's take a look at the backpack. When operated on auto, buff EX skill effect up 30%. So, that Alaya Vinyana we saw, instead of a 49% boost, it would just get up 30% to 79. Pretty good. Demerit for this is operated on auto. To clarify what that means, you have to be in control of the suit and you have to be set to auto. It doesn't work if it's another one of your suits, like a support suit that an AI is controlling. You have to be in control and it has to be on auto. That's the demerit for this. Alright. Ace exclusive, high mobility. Like, you know, the word tags are on point in terms of like lore accuracy, but alright. When operated on auto, squad EX skill power plus 30%. Okay. Again, only works if you're controlling the suit and it's placed on auto. But 30% boost is pretty beefy. Dang. Ace exclusive close combat again. Okay. Alright, let's take a look at the handguns. Bop bop. Bullet Storm. A plus Pierce, B plus Power, another bindable. One was not enough for you. You had to go for two. 20% speed boost for the squad, 29% shot attack boost for the squad, and all shot cooldowns instantly down 28%. Alright. That's kind of bonkers, honestly. It'll hit relatively hard. It has a pretty short cooldown, ICD anyways. Like, nice. And this is another one of those things that this is the first time, not the first time, second time we've seen it on a non-limited. It's a new weapon too, eh? Cool beans. Alright. Nice handguns, honestly. Alright, let's take a look at the 110mm rifle. While close combat, melee power boosted by 30%. Actually, that's a useful gun. You know, if you're a melee enthusiast here and you don't have a good trait on your gun, there you go. Close combat's a very powerful tertiary tag on melee. High chance that you're probably going to have access to it, if not already running it. Nice. So overall, the Vidar has a couple of pretty interesting parts on it. Some of its EX skills are quite interesting. Overall, for a standard suit, the first one that can go up to 7-star, very nice. Very nice. Alright, well, let's take a look at our Twitter videos here, and then we will rock and roll over to check out our alterations. Let's see here. Now we turn on our Twitter videos. Yeah, doggy. We'll open that, because that should be that's the Barbados. And the Vidar should not be too far behind, I reckon. Okay. We'll start with this, and we'll go from there. Alright, Vidar, wow me. Wow. Alright, so here's Demon Hunt. Alright, and Bullet Hell, right? Or Storm. Yes, Bullet Storm. I am interested. That looks like... Well, couple of questions I have for this EX skill. First of all, if I'm dashing at somebody with this and I'm blasting them and I kill them, will I automatically relock onto a new target? Or will the EX skill just terminate? The other question I have is, why did they give such like a dope shot EX skill to a melee suit? I feel betrayed. Overall, two nice looking bindables. That Gun EX applies awakenings, doesn't stack with other awakenings. So it like overwrites its own Alaya Vinyana, eh? That's kind of hilarious. Even if you aren't in range, you still shoot the dash shots and can land some damage. Neat. Neat, neat, neat. Alright, let's take a look at good old Barbado Lupu and see what we got here. Okay. Angry Claws. Alright. Okay. And here's the big one. Is it the same animation? Yeah. Okay. Pretty much what I expected. It's nice, it's shiny, it's another version of the Barbie, but it's effectively just more what we already got. But we'll take a look at it still, because it may have different numbers on it in terms of EX skills and whatnot. Anyhow, so we'll start with our Barbie, then we'll move on to the reruns. So, Barbados Lupus Rex head. Much like I did with the Vidar, I'm just going to be looking at the EX skill / trait and the word tags, because when you go to alternate apart, it's more or less guaranteed the stats are going to go up. We have less than 10 examples in the game where the stats drastically differ pre and post alter. I recommend before you invest the materials and stuff into it, you make sure the new stats are what you want. But for sure, EX skills get a increase in some fashion. For traits, you get another trait added on, which is pretty cool. Word tags don't change, but I didn't look at the suit previously, so. Anyways. Alaya Vinyana Limit Breaker. Raise your melee attack by 69%. So, this is now the highest modifier in the game for melee attack. The big funny number, 69. Alright, cool. That's, yeah. Pro-Tag Close Combat, I would expect no different. Torso. When armor is 1% or more, EX skill power boosted by 40%. Cooldown time up 10%, buff EX skill effect up 35%. I find that 1% or more kind of cheeky. It's as literally as you're not dead. No, we want this to be active at all times, but we weren't quite sure how to do it. So screw it. As long as you have more than 1% health, you got it. 40% EX skill power boost is really good. That's the highest modifier that we have in the game for it. Cooldown time up 10%, so your CDR gets boosted. If you're running a 100% cooldown reduction build, if you're running beyond that even, this may be negligible to you, honestly. May add a second or two to your cooldowns at the end of the day. Buff EX skill effect up 35%. That is going to be a flat addition, so that 69 we saw earlier would go up to 104%. A smidge ridiculous. Alright, Pro-Tag high firepower. Yep, the Barbados is definitely high firepower. Arm-mounted Rex Nail. S power, D pierce. Brandish your bestial claws and unleash an ultra high speed combo. That was the non-bindable where he just kind of started swinging at him. This skill was similarly pretty powerful on the first Lupus we got. However, it does have the demerit of very small hit window. Like, you really got to get in there. You can be interrupted. The enemy can, you know, even get out of it after they're hit if they're lucky. Honestly, it hits like a truck, but there's a lot of demerits to using it. So use it as you wish. Mileage may vary. Pro-Tag high firepower again. Cool beats. Let's check out the legs. When armor is 1% or more. Wow, that's familiar. Squad EX skill power plus 35%. So that can be put on anybody. With Blade category equipped, enemy EX skill cut minus 40%, also read as EX skill power boosted by 40%. Blades are pretty easy to get to, so cool beans. All right. Pro-Take Close Combat. There's some world where you get between 0 and 1%, but those are insanely rare. Yeah, honestly. All right. Tailblade, double S minus power, D pierce, cutscene cooldown, bindable. 20% squad speed boost, 59% squad melee attack boost, resist flinching, erases debuff effects on all Gunpla. Hits like a truck, stronger than its previous version. Yeah, nope, just good all around, honestly. Yeah. Pro-Take high firepower yet again. And the sword. Raging Mace. Boom. D Pierce, A plus power, low cooldown. This is another thing, much like the hand claws. It's a mileage may vary scenario. It looked like something easy to whiff, easy to get knocked out of. Yeah. Pro-Take, high firepower. So overall, the Lupus has ridiculously high melee specs. Surprise! It boasts 2 traits that are activated as long as you have more than 1% of your HP, which is effectively, barring freak situations, a guarantee. As long as you're not dead. Has crazy high multipliers on its skills for buffs. 69%, 59%, like absolutely just, oh, jeez Louise. Yeah. The alterations are pretty good for the suit. Yeah. Dang. All right, let's take a look at our slash Saku Phantom, and then we'll take a look at good old Crossbone. Infighter job, recover 10 armor gradually. Yeah, I forgot how bad some arena suits were. They exist. With Saku type, or while Saku type, squad EX skill power plus 35%. Now, that's actually really nice. So you can slap this head onto your supporter suits with relative ease. And as long as you have the Saku word tag activated, that's a lot of free damage on your EX skills. Dang. Torso. With Twin Blade category equipped, EX skill cooldown reduced by 15%, and Infighter job, enemy EX skill power reduced by 30%. The new trait that gets added I don't think is extremely worth the investment. Alright, arms. Job gauge increase down 10%, so your job gauge will increase a little slower. Melee power boosted by 25%. Like I said, I don't like the job gauge right now. I think it'd be better, so to me, this is just nothing but a bonus. While Saku type melee power boosted by 40%. That's solid stuff. As long as you can work the Saku tag into your build, you're chuckling. Solid stuff. Legs. While C power is over 100,000, which is easy, that's like a rounding error. Melee crit rate boosted by 17%. Crit rate's unfortunately garbage, moving along. With Twin Blade category equipped, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. Second highest available, the highest I believe is what, 23%, so this is solid second trait, as long as you're using a Twin Blade, so I guess that in itself is a demerit, so. Nice though. Nice, nice, nice. Backpack. Hydra Gatling. B plus power, D pierce, and you just fire the Gatlings. This boils down to how much spread is there when you use it. What's the range? Like, is it a short range? Is it a long range? You know, that. A lot of ifs with this, pretty much. In a perfect world, it has unlimited range. Excuse me. Well, not unlimited, but the same distance as the big EX skills that have like a long range to them. And as long as, you know, it doesn't start firing and just spray out everywhere like a massive fan, as long as it's like actually kind of focused. Okay. But don't know. No EX skill view to take a look. While Zaku type, we're on the axe now. While Zaku type, initial EX skill charge boosted by 12%. It's a functionable trait, I guess. With machine gun category equipped, enemy EX skill cut minus 30%, also known as EX skill damage up 30%. Considering we do see some good machine guns every now and again, okay, you know, alright. Take a look at the twin sword here, the G7 B-Max. B-Max deployment, B plus Pierce, B minus power. Yeah, pretty much, Jun, it is a part. So B plus Pierce, B minus power, low cooldown, and you reduce the enemy's beam resist by 39%. Okay. On paper, it looks pretty solid. B plus Pierce, B minus power. It has a little bit of womp in there. Low cooldown, so it's spammable. It's just based on the wording where you just swipe at them. It's not bindable or anything. There's no gap closer. This comes off as something that's very easy to whiff, meaning it loses a lot of its value very quickly. Oh, it also has a long wind-up before the slash as well. Yeah, it's going to be a no for me, dog. And lastly, the Beam Assault Rifle. When one enemy shot down, reduce cooldown by 40% once. This is a mileage may vary scenario, as it depends on the content that you're playing as to whether or not this will actually be useful. If you're playing content that has at least one enemy or more, you're good. Otherwise, you can probably assume this is useless. After 20 seconds pass, reduce cooldown by 50% once. This may be a useful trait depending on what phase of the game you're in, what you're fighting, what your EX skill pool looks like, a whole slew of different things. At the end of the day, only you know if this is best for your build, but I assume for people that are racing content or have super min-max, this is useless because after 20 seconds pass, the map is already over and they've already returned to the main menu. So, yeah. Interesting. Zaku type commander. So the slash Zaku, excuse me, has a couple of very, very interesting second traits that got added on. The EX skills don't seem to be anything jaw-droppingly amazing. Honestly, though, for an arena suit that we got forever ago, finally kind of seeing the light again. You know, it's pretty dang okay, if I do say so myself. Yep, arms and head. Alright, let's take a look at old Crossbone. Start from the head. Head-mounted Vulcan, and nope, there is no salvaging that. Alright, the arms. 21% chance of attacks penetrating super armor. And if you have the infighter job, melee power boosted by 30%. That's a very nice second trait there. The first one, I'm kind of on the fence about. 1 in 5 chance of you staggering the enemy if they have super armor. Honestly, you're better off just killing it before the super armor becomes a problem. Legs. Heat Dagger. A Pierce, B minus power. I'm pretty sure this is exactly the same as all the other dagger flurry skills. Dodge in the worst way. Backpack trait, Vernier consumption reduced by 15%, and while pro tag, debuff EX skill effect up 22%. Okay, if you're running debuffs, 22% is a pretty healthy number. You do require the pro tag, word tag though, so that may throw a wrench into things. The Vernier consumption, like I said, no, I don't really see it as a benefit. Alright. Neat. The second trait is pretty much okay. Shield. The ABC Cloak. With technique attribute, enemy shooting power reduced by 25%. Alright. Before 40 seconds pass, enemy all power reduced by 30%. Now that's actually pretty convenient. As long as you finish the fight off within 40 seconds, the enemy will suffer a severe damage output reduction. Okay. The first trait's kind of eh. But I guess if the enemy uses a lot of shot, it'll be really good, but it's kind of a 50-50 there. Maybe even worse odds. Okay. Rotate close combat. The Beam Zanba, the Cutlass. With Technique Attribute, EX skill power boosted by 25%. Easy to get Technique Attribute, no issue there. While for Space, EX skill power boosted by 35%. So I've talked about this in almost every stream, how I don't like the 4 line of tags, and I think they could be way better than they currently are. Big issue with that is we're not able to pick the stages that we currently play on in most content. So having a 4 tag is kind of useless because it's only actually going to activate on one of multitudes of different stages. And, you know, okay, you feel like playing the lottery every time you get into a fight, power to you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But I'm going to dodge. Alright, and our beam rifle, the Zan Buster. Beam ranged weapon reload speed boosted by 15%. Okay. Okay, still useless. Torso parts EX skill power boost by 35%. What could the torso of this possibly be where this trait would be useful? I don't know. That's a real thinker for the times. The second trait, you know, alright, the torso part restriction does heavily limit its viability. Excuse me. Again, mileage may vary, you do you. But the first one, where your reload speed is boosted by 15%, is just useless. And lastly, the torso. B power, D pierce, 11 magazine. Yep, it's literally just an same thing but better. Do keep in mind that this torso, like I said, was the bread and butter for a lot of people for a good chunk of time near this game's launch, right after it came out. If you are someone that is looking for a quick, powerful, dirty steroid, here you go. Alright, cool beans. Yep, just a magazine increase effectively. Alright. Well, lads, with that, we've gone over all the GBM content. We talked about all the fun stuff, looked at all the new stuff, and everything in between, which is always good. Now, I guess I'll ramble on about a couple of things I just kind of feel like talking about before I wrap up the stream and go to sleep for the night, because it is late, and I am tired, and I like my sleep. For anyone that tuned in for just the Gundam stuff, thanks for stopping by as always. I'll see you guys in a week or two whenever new content comes out I need to talk about. Oh, wait! We got the 4.0 letter to go over. I remembered. No one had to remind me this time. Look at me. Big brain. Is it on here yet? No, it's not. Alright, let me crack it open in my web browser real fast. Because I'm pretty sure I had that on call. Yes, I did. Alright. Let's open it up and take a look-see, gang. I'm gonna just move that over there. Hide that there. Get another one of these going real quick. Okay. Bring that here. And to stop. Yeah! Okay. So, let us take a peek-see at what we have here. So, starting from the top, 3rd anniversary campaign info. 10 big in-game campaigns to celebrate the anniversary, items, haro chips, blah blah blah, XP boost campaigns for the hangars, which is nice. Alright, photo studio expansion. We get more poses. Okay, new stamps. Alright, I know some people really enjoy that. It's mileage may vary scenario for sure. Parts box limit expansion. You get 100 more slots. Alright. Can be pretty useful, but we're accruing parts at a much faster rate than that, so they may need to change that and give us more. A letter gift for this. We get friend points, hangar tickets, daily tickets, and recoveries. Useful. Moving forward schedule. Okay. Custom-made missions every week. Multi-missions alternate between crew and blah, blah, blah. Cool. So, changes overview. The arena schedule will remain unchanged with the 1-on-1 and 3. Okay. Battle circuit remains unchanged. Scenario battles will open the first Monday. Okay. So, they're giving us more time for that, thankfully. Ultimate missions will be open on the second Monday. Okay. And they no longer require the tokens. All right. The free capsule campaign finally, wait, ends on April the 10th. Hold on a second. Hold on. I was reading the wrong thing. No wonder it sounded familiar. I was like, hold on. There's no changes. That makes sense. So this is literally it, eh? Just here. So we got the 10 campaigns they didn't tell us anything about. We're getting the XP boost campaign. A new Gunpla you can get through a special capsule. I swear if it's another Valkyrie. Okay. The website will be available soon. It may already be available because this was posted quite a while ago. I'd have to double check. Cool. Yeah, this all came posted out as soon as I got back, so. All right. Yeah, they really didn't give us a ton of information. But, as some of you may have noticed, I did talk about it in the general channel in my Discord, briefly, albeit. But there are, from what I was told, we got a lot of campaigns, like I said. As they said here, we got 10 campaigns. I'm interested to see what they go with this time. New Gunpla, and it doesn't mean there's Gunpla through the special capsule thing. Like, there's actual new Gunpla that are coming as well, so it's more than just that. Yeah. And I want to know more about the 4.0 patch, but they don't really talk about it here. Oh, well. Website's out now. It's a nothing burger. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Anniversary is really close, so. Either we get some really dope stuff or we don't. There's really not much we can do about it at this point, huh? Alrighty, let's pop back over onto here. Bada boom, bada bing. So, let's catch up to chat here. Did I miss Xant talk about his visit to the States? Very briefly at the beginning I talked about it. I can go into more detail. Website, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Do you see the Wuthering Waves gameplay video I posted? So, the Wuthering Waves gameplay video is pretty interesting, and it is something I wanted to talk about, because I know a lot of people seem to be a little confused as to what it actually was. Anyways, so with that, we've gone over all the Gundam stuff. I wish there was more to talk about with the anniversary, but they didn't really give us a bone to work with, so my apologies for that. Anyways, for anyone that was just here for Gundam, or this game in particular, all done, all finished. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys in a week or 2 weeks, whenever. And yeah, thanks for coming by. For everyone else that just kind of wants to hang out and chat a little bit extra, I do want to talk a little bit about my fun trip to the States. It was actually a lot of fun. And I do also want to talk about some of the game stuff that's kind of evolved over the last few days that I haven't had a lot of time to really talk about or process, because I was sick for like a week after coming back almost from America, so I really haven't had a lot of time to just kind of, decompress. You dig? So, starting from the top, let's keep it Gundam related. Anime Expo. So, let me tell you guys a tale. So, I was told that to get into the event when I arrived, because I wasn't given a ticket, I was just told, your name will be on the list, get in. So I show up, and they have some guys, some security guards kind of standing out front, making sure people don't just, crash it. And they're like, all right, I need your name. Give them my name, I show them my driver's license to confirm it, and they're looking at it, they're looking through their list, like, you're not on the list. I was really confused. And that's when Andrea and Nolan, Gundam Time, they showed up, and we're talking. We're trying to figure out what's going on, because they weren't on the list either. contacted a guy inside, back and forth, talking. It turns out they had actually, for some reason I didn't think about it, but they had put it under my YouTube handle, Xant, instead of my actual name. So, surprise, my name wasn't on the list, it was my YouTube handle. Anyways, that got resolved, we got in. So the panel itself was actually absolutely amazing. There was so much cool stuff discussed there, and I wish I could talk about all of it, but I can't. A lot of people that went can't talk about it either, although I have no doubt they did, because there's nothing binding. It's all just like a, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't talk about it, guys. Yeah. So much cool stuff, so many cool announcements. They had the game demos there for the Gundam Battle Alliance, which I got to watch Nolan play. That was really cool. I am so excited to actually get my hands on that game and play it. I don't know if you guys have watched the footage that came out from the expo that the bigger companies and stuff like did filming for. That game is clean. The multiplayer aspect looks to be absolutely dope as well. The suit selection's really cool. Honestly, I can see myself getting sucked in playing that with a lot of my friends because they're interested in it as well. So that's like, I'm super excited for that. On the topic, somebody brought it up earlier, G Generations Eternal. Everyone that was at that little panel thing that Bandai did, we are getting access to Eternal for its beta test. I'm really happy for that. I'm super excited to play that, try it out. Like I said, I'm going to stream as much as I possibly can for you guys and talk about it with you. One of the big things that they're kind of doing is kind of like a feedback thing. You know, they want to get our input on what the game should be to make sure that it lasts a long time. Damn, I love when developers do that, when they go, hey, we got a game. Good idea for a game, but we want to make sure it's what the players want. It's like, yes, I like this. I like this quite a bit. So I'm excited to get that going. I'm a happy camper. And it's one of those games too where it feels like if it hits EOS, it's a game that you can just kind of cut off and turn into a single player experience, let people just enjoy their save data content and keep playing. Because it's a lot like Crossrays, right? You know, even though Crossrays is still getting new suits, the DLC, and all that extra missions and stuff to do, if they just suddenly said, all right, we're done, you know, no more content being added, EOS kind of thing, there's still a ton of game to play. If anyone decided to pick it up and start playing it, there's tons to do. So I'm really excited to see kind of where that goes. Can you say if Eternal has a gacha system or not? What I can tell you is no one seems to actually know. No matter who we ask, no matter how many people we ask, it's always not sure. And that's another reason I really want the CBT to hit sooner rather than later. I want to see exactly what they're throwing at us. Is it going to be an actual hard gacha? Is it going to be a cosmetic gacha? How are they going to do this? I'm interested to see what they decide on going with as a final product. Keep in mind, right, and I'll be repeating this in a few minutes, but keep in mind, when we do finally get our hands on Eternal, it's not going to be the final build. Even though it is marked as a beta test, they're taking a lot of feedback to tweak systems and change things to make sure the players enjoy it. So it's not going to be the final product. It's not going to be your typical, you know, oh, we're releasing in, 6 weeks. We just want to make sure the game doesn't blow up when people play it. So, yeah. I really, really hope they do good with it. I would love to have that kind of experience on the go. I've been looking for a game that I can actually have on my phone and play more casually, because like right now most of my mobile games are either quick burns or grind fests. I'd like to have something I can just kind of casually crack open, play a quick map of that strategy game that Generations is known for, and then pack it in and play again later. It'd be really interesting if they did it like an offline system, so you can actually play the game when you're offline and then you just connect and it updates the data. Obviously that could run into people cheating and hacking and stuff, but honestly I see most people not really doing that at the end of the day because it's just not worth it. At least depending on how they decide to implement the gacha system if they do. Anyways, other stuff I wanted to talk about. Upcoming games. So Mana brought up Wuthering Waves. That is a game that I am very, very excited for. Like, irrationally so. So, some of you probably watched the video I made, I think it was a year ago now, on gacha systems and why I like certain gacha systems and dislike others. And I just kind of talked about incentives. An extension of that video that I never made, because I like to keep myself above water and not, you know, drowned by toxic fan bases. I'm not a big fan of Genshin Impact for a handful of reasons. First and foremost, the game does an amazing job with its exploration. I love the feeling of a new area being added and looking around and seeing all that there is to see. You know, when they finally added Dragon Spine, that brought me back for a little bit to play, explore, and check everything out. But to me, it just updates too slowly. And once you've explored everything and done the content, all that's left is a rather unrewarding grind, because that's pretty much its endgame, and that's my biggest issue with it. Most games have a endgame grind that doesn't feel as tedious, at least the ones I typically enjoy. So yeah, my biggest beef with Genshin pretty much just boils down to a bad endgame loop, outside of its normal content and droughts. But Wuthering Waves looks to be a game very similar to Genshin while retaining mechanics that I prefer much more. A game that I have been playing relatively religiously since it released in Global is Punishing Gray Raven. Some of you may know that, some of you may play it as well. Punishing Gray Raven is amazing. I try to get as many people as I can to play it and try it out, because honestly, I think out of all the mobile games I've ever played, it is the best. That is a full stop. That is a hands down. I find it as a game that has tons and tons of stuff to do. It has something for everybody, and it just helps that it feels like a very high quality game. I look at Wuthering Waves and I see kind of this almost middle ground between Genshin Impact and Gray Raven, PGR, where they have that open world feeling that Genshin brought, but they bring more map exploration elements. They kind of break away from where Genshin did a lot of what Breath of the Wild did, and they bring in more, parkour style things, right? They went more like old school Mirror's Edge kind of deal than they did Breath of the Wild. Two very different feelings, and, you know, whatever floats your boat, floats your boat. I do prefer I didn't even like Breath of the Wild. That is something I should be upfront about. I personally did not really enjoy Breath of the Wild. I found it to be a experience. I think though that's mostly because when I was growing up, my game of choice was Zelda, whether it was A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, you know, any of these things. So the whole open world exploration thing, as cool as it was, really didn't feel like a Zelda game to me, and I felt it was just kind of could have been a lot better in a lot of ways. I got into a really weird argument with a friend about that one, actually, where it was like, you know, I can crack open the guidebook for the original, you know, Link to the Past back from like 98 or whatever that it was released, maybe even earlier. And I can flip to that page where you got Link on the side of a mountain looking across, you know, this valley, and you see on another mountain peak the Tower of Hera and the clouds, right? And that's kind of the feeling I've always felt with Zelda, is it needs to have that mystique. It needs to have those places that you have to find that have an impact, right? When you see them, that really kind of oomph, right? Up until Breath of the Wild, Zelda's been pretty good about it because they've been able to control your path with its railroaded systems, right? When you got to Breath of the Wild, though, because it was open world and you could tackle it however you wanted, it kind of ruined a lot of that impact in some places. Again, personal opinion, right? Each their own. If you enjoyed the game, power to you. I'm not saying the game was bad. I'm just saying, my opinion, I think the game could have been a lot better, more Zelda-like. But, you know, that's just the way it is. Not everyone will be happy with everything. But that's why I look at Wuthering Waves, and I see something really nice. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see how it develops. As I mentioned earlier, I would be saying it again in a couple of minutes, the Wuthering Waves test was a technical test. So it depends on the developer, the words they're using, but typically a technical test is, hey, didn't mean to hit my mic. You know, it's pretty much the developers going, hey, we got something that kind of works, and we just want to make sure that when we give it to people, the game, you know, doesn't have physics errors. It doesn't have people falling out of the map. It doesn't have, you know, weird bugs or stuff, right? It's like a pre-alpha, effectively. A technical test is literally, we have created a thing. Here is a proof of concept, right? Then you got your alpha, which is we've hammered out a lot of the details. You know, we have kind of our first draft UI in place. You know, we got kind of the basics down here. Let's see if it still functions and, you know, kind of does stuff. And you got a beta test, which is typically, all right, most of our ducks are in a row here. We've got pretty much everything hammered out. We can still do some changes if we need to, but like, you know, core progression loops are typically hammered in by that point. Most of the time, gacha stuff is locked in by that point, because you got your monetization model, and that's kind of how you build other features of the game off of that. And that's where I'm kind of confused about Eternals. I'm not quite sure if, you know, they've already like hammered down the gacha stuff and they just don't want to talk about it, or if they're going to be flexible about that and are willing to change a lot. It'll be interesting to see, but we'll see nonetheless. Anyways, what I'm getting at, the Wuthering Waves technical test demo that a lot of people are taking footage from looks really good. When you put it into perspective, that is a focus on mechanics working first, graphics second, I'm impressed. One thing to keep in mind as well is you may look at Wuthering Waves and you may think, the graphics don't look that great, you know, it looks kind of bland. Yeah, what I do is I implore you to go take a look at the Punishing Gray Raven alpha footage. It looks miserable, much like how Wuthering Waves looks in comparison to what I assume is going to be the final product. If you look at the most recent stuff for Punishing Gray Raven, it looks like a AAA fucking game. People have been sending GIFs around of the most recent story mode map where you're surfing on really wavy water. That shit looks like it was taken out of Black Flag and improved, right? And that game had like the best water we've seen in a very long time. Anyways, besides the point. I'm excited for Wuthering Waves. I'm really hyped to see where it goes, and I am totally fine with waiting to see, you know, like, at this point, I can wait another year, 2 years, shit, man, just deliver a solid game, you got me. I'm still waiting on Star Rail. I'm excited to kind of get my hands on that, try it out, see if the turn-based appeals to me. ZZZ, interested to try that as well. That looks, it's not like up my alley as much. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of roguelikes, but I'll dabble, I'll try them, you know, give the old college try. So that's something I'm hyped for. The Memory Reloaded Mahoka game came out about, what, a few days ago or so. I gave that a try. Honestly, as far as mobile games go, it's passable. The menus feel relatively responsive. The clearing difficulty isn't too hard. Party building feels good enough, and the graphics are actually pretty clean for what it is. And there's a little too much fan service for my liking, considering the series itself, but you just put up with that because it's gacha games. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the global release. The global Twitter already exists for it, so as soon as that drops, I'm going to be really actively playing it. So yeah, I've dropped a lot of other games over the time as well. Like, I used to play Final Gear a lot, but I dropped that because I found the grind was just too tedious. I tried Artery Gear. You may notice that gears in a lot of these because they're mech-styled games. Yeah, none of them really stuck for very long. Yeah. Tower of Fantasy. So, Tower of Fantasy to me, on paper, if you asked me 2 years ago, I would have been really like, oh yeah, Tower of Fantasy, super excited for that. But I watched the launch on its home server, and honestly, any interest I really had in the game died out. Boiling it down very quickly, mismanaged. The story is cookie cutter at best. And honestly, it was a shit show, to put it nicely. Yeah. So a global launch may be in the works. I may try it out briefly, but I have very low expectations of it. I expect it to run into more or less the same issues here that it did overseas. Yeah. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, Artery Gear is definitely a lot about like the MTX side of microtransactions. Although I guess you can call them more macro transactions. They're like $49 a pack. It's like, oh, you rolled this new gacha character? Well, here's a booster pack for them, only available for a day. You know, so I get what you mean by that. I just closed them and ignored them, but the rates were mediocre. I didn't like the combat chibis at all. Like, they started to grow on me, but I was like, you know what? After playing other games, this is just... why waste my time, frankly? Yeah. So right now, I'm pretty much boiled down to playing FGO. I do my streams for GBM, as you guys are aware. I play a little bit of Arc Knights, very casually autoing on the side. Punishing Grey Raven is kind of my main go-to game now. It's the one I'm only really, truly playing anymore. And I'm just kind of waiting for something new to kind of get my attention, whether it's a game on the PC or mobile or whatever. But yeah, that's the way it is. I'm hoping SDGBA launches soon so I can sink my teeth into that. I'm also really hoping that we get more GBO2 news soon because, yeah, that game just kind of disappeared off the face of the planet. Yeah. But, yeah. Long and short summary, Anime Expo was tons of fun. Got a little sick coming back, but nothing I can't fight off. I'm more or less better now. Waiting for a ton of games to release, and I'm excited to try all of them. Couple of them I wanted to play released and were, you know, pretty okay. You know, definitely worth playing them long term, see if they're viable. Yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. As far as progress goes in other mobile games, yeah, so I had actually recorded my roles for both the new Archer and Rider in Fate Grand Order. Yeah, I just never got around to uploading them, honestly. They're still sitting on my phone, but I realized I forgot to record audio for both of them, and there's like some weird video corruption, so I don't know. I'll see if I can salvage them and upload them, but yeah. Doing content can sometimes be a hassle because you always have to remember to record everything you do. I noticed that when I was in LA. Oh yeah, so my plane flight there and back. The last time I went to LA, I was lucky enough to get window seats both ways. This time I wasn't. I was in the middle row. So I wasn't able to get really good footage of it. But the difficulty was just remembering to get the footage in the first place. I found that to be arguably the most difficult thing, is remembering to turn on my camera to record like every little thing. Because, yeah, it can be difficult, so... Yeah, the Saturday... Oh, man. So let me tell you about the actual trip itself outside of the panel. So me and my buddy landed on Friday, relatively early in the morning. We grabbed a Uber, and we took it to our hotel. So check-in was a smidge of a pain. So we get to the front desk. Super helpful dude there. You know, I give him my name, reservation, cool beans. We already checked in online. Let's just get this done. You know, wham, bam, get into our room. He takes my credit card to charge it, gives it the good old swipe. Life's great, gives me a set of keys. Goes to give it a second swipe, card declined. We're like, hey, what? And we're trying to figure out why my card was being declined, because it shouldn't be. And I'm thinking maybe my bank flagged it for fraud after that first purchase or something. I don't know. Anyways, called my bank, and it turns out what had happened was the guy had charged me for both of the rooms on the first swipe, and I guess he assumed that he needed to do it again to get me to charge me for the second room, and that's why it was going declined, because it was going way over the limit I had set for it, because it was like, what, $3,000, $4,000 for the rooms, for the weekend, and, yeah, my limit is not 8K, so yeah, it didn't work. Anyways, we got that resolved, got our keys, crashed, dropped our stuff off, and then we've been in contact with some of the people that we were going to meet up there in LA, because I know some people that are there. Really nice group. And we were going to get, we needed, oh, I really need to stop hitting you. We needed 2 bands. One of them was our, oh, sorry, to enter the con, we needed one band, which was our proof of vaccination. That's where you had to stand in line and just kind of get a band wrapped around you after showing them your country's proof of vaccination. So that wasn't too bad. Got that out of the way really quick. The people in our little chat group that we had for this meetup were saying that they were standing in line for like an hour and a half, 2 hours waiting because there was such a crazy lineup. Me and my friend get there. We literally just walked in, barely stopped to show our like proofs, and just got our bands and walked out. It took us like 30 seconds ahead. I just had a good laugh about that. Then we spent some time walking around the convention, checking stuff out, kind of getting a feel for it, looking at some of the merch booths and whatnot. It was really cool. They had the Gundam base set up and everything. I got in there and took a look around. Oh yeah, on that, so Games actually had a stand there, and that was really cool as well. So I got a Grand Blue Fantasy branded thing here, but inside a very, very pretty, I don't know if the light will show it properly on here, the Katana of Repudiation that you get, one of the Dark Opus weapons, and it's really cool. I'm actually a huge fan of it. Their catalog was unfortunately a little lackluster. Like, I guess I'm kind of comparing it to what they had for their like anniversary, because I also bought some anniversary merch from them. I got Six's relic gauntlet. It's like a actual really heavy chunk of some kind of cheap metal, but it's really cool. And I also got the Evoker keychain charm, which is really cool. But yeah, I just felt like the Grand Blue booth they had at AX was like really lackluster compared to that online store, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, a lot of the booths were actually, my friend is like really into Azure Lane, and I know some people that are really into Arknights. So we had checked out the Yostar area over there, Arknights and Azure Lane and all that stuff. And like their catalogs were just kind of, I guess not really up my alley or anything. There was like body pillow stuff. There were like acrylic charms for like specific characters. They didn't even have like pins for all of the factions or stuff, right? Only select few. I don't know. It was just weird to me. But yeah. The Friday night, what did we do? Oh yeah, so Friday night, we decided to try out a ramen place down the road. Actually, I think I still have the... Did I move the... I should have moved the photo. Yes, I did. Let me see if I can crack it open here real quick. Yes, I can. Perfect. Give me a second here to just throw it on. YouTube Expo. Yeah. I wish I had taken a photo with the group, but as things go, like I said, it can be difficult sometimes to record every little single thing that you do. But anyways, we went to this ramen place. I believe it was called Jinya? Something like that. It's really good, though. It's really, really good. Got myself their signature black bowl ramen. That stuff was so good. Holy crap. A little expensive, but it was LA, so kind of expected. But yeah, we had a lot of fun at that restaurant, hung out, had some drinks. And then we rolled out to crash for the night. Saturday came. Morning, we went to Frank and Son. That was... So, I owe Crow for showing me that place the first time I was in LA. That place is really cool. It's just like it's like a Costco-sized collectible thing, right? You got sports, you got Pokemon, you got wrestling, you know, you got like all these different hobbies and stuff, and all this merchandise for it. It's so dope, and I recommend that anyone that goes to LA that hasn't been to it, check out Frank and Son. It's really nice. Anyways, took my buds there, did a little bit of shopping. Actually, while I was there, let me just move some of these boxes and stuff out of the way here really I found a box model for Lacus. I was quite happy about that because finding actual like figures and models for her that aren't, you know, shit quality or knockoffs is surprisingly difficult. So I got my hands on one of those. I'm waiting for some tools to show up in the mail. They're showing up tomorrow. And I'm going to build that. And I'll probably record myself doing it because it's like an actual kit too, which is really neat. Yeah. Beyond that, the rest of the Saturday was just kind of hanging out with the gang, going around town. Well, not really town per se, the convention, checking stuff out. And then we went to a Korean barbecue place for dinner. Oh boy, that is a story. One I'm not telling now because it's way too long. But long and short, great night. Had lots to drink, good fun. Sunday was the day of the actual like Bandai Namco panel, and I pretty much like slept in until it was time for the panel and just went. One thing I will note, being from Canada, I'm not used to the sheer amount of sunlight and hot that Los Angeles has. And I was a mess most of the time I was there, just trying to acclimate to the heat and the sun. And I was fully expecting to come home and have a terrible, terrible burn. Yeah, I actually got more sunburn swimming in a pool the couple weeks prior. So I have no idea how that works. All I know is there was lots of sweat and lots of swearing because the first couple of, well, the Friday we were there, we couldn't find water to actually save our lives. And until probably about 3 p.m. on Saturday, we had a real issue finding liquids. It was not something that we had planned on needing, but vending machines completely wiped out. Anything that served water within the convention grounds or liquids in general were packed with people and you really just couldn't get through. Yeah, I know for next time though. Yeah, it was an experience, that's for sure. That is for sure. Met a lot of really nice people there. Got to hang out with Saiji, Kakarot, obviously the Bandai guys, which is really cool seeing them and talking to them again. Got to meet the Gundam Time group finally face to face. It was a really, really cool meeting. I'm sad that more people weren't able to be there, but I understand that it can be very expensive to travel, and it was also kind of relatively short notice too. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the long and short of it. That's kind of the Cliff Notes editions of the Anime Expo trip. Like I said, I am going to try to get that video out sooner rather than later, just because. Yeah, what's my battery at? Oh wow, 66%, not bad. Yeah, I'm just gonna see what I can do with editing on that, and yeah, that Kakarot. Yeah, he was there. Really nice guy. really like stand-up chap. Him and I actually ended up sitting next to each other at the restaurant after the panel, and he was looking for an authentic American beer to try because he's like, you know, in America, first time, I'm gonna try it. That makes sense. Yeah, first thing he did was tried an IPA. That didn't go over so well. Then he tried a Bud Light because that is like the de facto most average American beer you can think of. And he was like, yeah, it's a beer. God, his face when he had the IPA was great. He recommended some beers for me to try. It was good. It was nice. He's a really good stand-up dude. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up, guys. It is midnight. Midnight. I do need to sleep. It's been great hanging out, talking with all you guys. Like I said, I will be doing a stream next week if something really cool happens for GBM, or the week after as normal for the next event, if whatever. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's at least just for GBM content. Maybe I'll do a stream for something else. I don't know yet. I just kind of do it when I feel like it. Anyways, as always, thanks for tuning in and hanging out, guys. Yeah, peace out. See you in the next one.